The world is a possibility if only you'll discover it.
Welcome to Chapter 4. In the first 3 chapters, you learn the fundamentals of the intervention, including the history, foundational theories, and implementation terms. In Chapter 4, we'll start getting into the details of the community discovery phase of D-UP. We all know that when it comes to intervention work, not all communities are the same. Watching people and gathering intelligence are an important part of the discovery process and will play a key role in how effective we eventually are in preventing HIV. There are a lot of social networks out there, and paying attention to how people meet, become friends, and form bonds will allow you to think about how you need to go about gaining the trust and participation of your target community. Within every culture, there are groups, subgroups, social networks, and even friendship groups. So it's important that when looking at your organization's mission and goals, you should ask yourself a few honest questions. Who in these groups do we have access to? What do we know about the overall community? Which social networks are the best fit with our skills and resources? Throughout this chapter, you'll learn how to answer all of these questions, and many more, to help you and your staff make informed decisions that allow you to best serve the groups, social networks, and friendship groups you will identify as you conduct your community discovery. Community discovery is a process where your goal is to learn as much as possible about the potential target population, as well as the groups and subgroups it is composed of. In fact, most people who have successfully implemented D-UP say that community discovery is key to the program's success.
Community discovery is the first part of D-UP. It's the first thing that you do when you're implementing the intervention. I think the key component is the community assessment process. It's really what makes the intervention work, and without that community assessment process, everything else just falls apart. So I think that is absolutely the most essential part of the whole intervention.
It's essential because, as you know, D-UP is specifically designed for Black gay men. While this is obviously a narrow focus within the Black population, in community discovery, you will actually need to narrow your focus even more. A good start is to identify whom your agency wants to reach, break down that audience to a particular zip code or geographic area, or identify a specific behavior or experience that is common to this target audience, for example, college students. This effort will provide the focus you need to be effective in reaching your target population. And while at first it may seem overwhelming, there are ways to break it down so you can achieve it step by step.
A lot of the times people see all the different pieces of community discovery and it's really overwhelming. So one thing I think that's helpful is to give them what we call a flow chart, or to help them kind of have one visual to look at, kind of like a checklist that makes it somewhat easier. And so the way I set up a flow chart is by having people check and balance what they think they know with what they actually found out.
To give you a specific example of how community discovery works, let's check back in with Michael and Curtis at Brothers Inc. When Brothers Inc. started working on community discovery, they first gathered data from a CDC report that helped them understand parts of their city and then zero in on their target population. Brothers Inc. uses this kind of data regularly to track the prevalence and incidence of HIV and AIDS in its communities. You might use reports like this, as well as other methods which we'll cover soon, to help you identify your target population and to narrow your focus for the next step, identifying social networks. Brothers Inc. also uses existing data to make sure it is accurately identifying the right people. Data may also be obtained from the most recent U.S. Census, housing data, and other sources of information. The goal is to make sure you have the data you need to succeed.
community discovery isn't done properly, you could actually jeopardize the existing relationship that the organization has with the community. If there isn't that respectful engagement of community stakeholders, then you lose the buy-in that individuals might have for HIV prevention, and you also might tarnish the name of the organization. So it really does have to be done well, and it has to be done in the time frame that it takes, and again, that time frame might be anywhere from 6 months to a year, but if it's going to take a year, rushing it can be a dangerous process for an organization.
Michael and Curtis know that for a community-level intervention like D-UP to be successful, taking the time to get community discovery right is important. Community discovery is the foundation of the intervention, and trust is the foundation of community discovery.
So a lot of the times you think you know a lot about a community that you work with, and you might, but that's not necessarily all you need to know about that community. So folks can get caught up rushing things a little bit and assuming a lot of things about a community. So I think one of the great things about D-UP is actually the community discovery component actually yields a lot of information and might teach you a lot of things about your community that you didn't know before. But it means you have to actually take the time to find them out.
Gathering information is a big part of community discovery. It might seem overwhelming at first, but we've included a few key documents in your D-UP toolkit that should make it easier to get started on developing your plan.
There's key informant interviews, which is qualitative research in a sense. There are community risk surveys, which is quantitative. And then there's some other elements that involve observing venues, observing friendship groups.
Some of the specific documents you'll be using are the Demographic and Risk Survey, a key informant interview guide, and the Social Venue Context Assessment Form. Not everyone implementing D-UP will use these forms, but check them out before you start from scratch. If nothing else, they should be a good starting point in thinking about what you'll need to collect. The Demographic and Risk Survey is designed to help you collect information prior to implementing D-UP. You can use the information gathered to choose the at-risk population that you will target for D-UP and to design evaluation activities to continuously improve your program. The Key Informant Interview Guide is for the community insiders who know the target population and who can provide insight into the community. Key informants provide important information about the community and its members. Some of your key informants may also be gatekeepers who may literally open the door for you by letting your staff into a club without a cover charge or introduce you to potential opinion leaders. These people are invaluable in your work before and during implementation of D-UP. The Social Venue Context Assessment Form is for observing your audience at their regular meeting places. Some communities won't have appropriate social venues. For these, you'll rely on social context, which is how the friendship groups within the social networks relate to one another. This document is great for tracking discussions you have with gatekeepers and other contacts, whether it's in a social venue or social context setting. Focus groups, like many of the methods of gathering information we will highlight in this chapter, could be conducted at several points in your implementation of D-UP. Focus groups are a great tool in providing you with detailed information about the issues that are important to your targeted social network. During community discovery, you can use them to find out about the social norms around safer sex and even where social networks of Black gay men may gather. But don't let the idea of using a focus group intimidate you. There is a focus group guide in your toolbox, as well as some simple things that can make this task easier.
If you know you're going to have a focus group, go ahead and think through your community discovery and the different questions you want to ask. While they're there, go ahead and get their feedback on your conversation starter. And it's different ways you can make a focus group count for more than one thing and, kind of kill two birds with one stone.
A good start is to write out the primary findings from each one of these activities. This may help you think through your agency's plan for implementing D-UP. And the Community Discovery Summary Log can help to clarify your findings.